I want to begin tonight with a situational report because so many people were appearing to be angry that we called it off. First of all, we've not called it off. We have not called it off. Operation Sindoor is on. And Operation Sindoor will be on till we teach the enemy a lesson and the enemy learns to behave. If you watch the press conference today of the three operational heads of the Army, Navy and Air Force, a clear message is going out that we are keeping the Pakistanis under watch. A. B, they said very clearly that we are in a combat situation. How much more clearly do we want our armed forces to say it? Just because Shehbaz Sharif is claiming that he has been let off the hook, just because the Pakistanis are doing press conferences thanking the Americans that it's all over, and just because he's doing this press conference in which he looks to his left and then he looks to his right, and this press conference, it's not a press conference, it's a speech that is edited 15 times. Just because of this, because of a Pakistani claim, should we in the Indian media put out a story saying that it's over? If so, on what factual basis? I would rather always trust my Prime Minister. I would trust my Prime Minister. I would trust my Army, my Navy, my Air Force, my Defense Minister, and our National Security Advisor, and our Chief of Defense Staff over anyone else. And therefore, in this age of false information, misinformation and disinformation, and if there was a word like malinformation, I would probably use it, because the malevolent intent of this information, you're pushing out this narrative, oh, we've let them off the hook. Who let them off the hook? Consider the words of the Prime Minister that have been quoted today all over. I want to run those graphics. The Prime Minister says, hit them hard and hit them harder and keep hitting them. Are these the words of a Prime Minister who says we've let them off the hook? Hit them hard, hit them bigger, hit them deeper. He says, wahan se goli chalegi, yahan se gola chalega. The only matter left is the return of POK and the return of the terrorists. Now, I don't know who sees this as letting anyone off the hook. It's an active situation. The services have done their press conference today with the consent and support of the Prime Minister of India, the Defense Minister, the Raksha Mantri, and our entire government. And hence, therefore, let us be very, very clear. We cannot be taken by the words of claims of anyone else, not even those of Donald Trump. Not even those of Donald Trump. Many people have taken what I said in my initial response to the news that Donald Trump has announced a ceasefire at 5:30 p.m. and they made it viral saying, here's an Indian journalist questioning Donald Trump. Well, I absolutely will. Because I don't think Donald Trump has the right to meddle in our business. He has the right to be interested. He has the right to be curious. He has the right to try and say, can I facilitate something? But it is not for him to take ownership of a decision that is in our domain. And nobody's given him that, because we have been told very clearly at the highest levels of the government, ladies and gentlemen, that there is no mediation that we need. We need no mediation on Kashmir or anywhere else. This is a bilateral issue. Anybody can make an offer. Anybody can say, I want to be a mediator. But there has been no situational change on the ground. And most importantly now, if you see the visuals of the Indian Navy, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm saying this repeatedly because I want this to go to as many people across the country, that given the swathe of information that we have, far from let them off the hook, we have tightened the noose. Because we have said, don't you ever think that you're going to get the Indus Waters Treaty back. Our Navy, ladies and gentlemen, those are operational pictures. The reality is, we have locked in on Pakistan. We are locked in on Pakistan. That's as much as I can say, as much as I can reveal. But we are locked in. The dams must remain closed. The visas should remain suspended. There should be no sea trade. We don't need their airspace. We don't need their embassy. We don't need the Pakistani cricket. We don't need the Pakistani movies. We don't need the Indus Waters Treaty. And we will never forget and forgive, and we will never forget. Ladies and gentlemen, what we are saying on the other side is that You make any small misadventure now, it is going to be an all-out war. This is a fundamental difference from the situation under the Congress government. Now, nobody can save you, Pakistanis. Nobody can save you. This is the Narendra Modi government, and this government has set the principle in stone. This principle was not there earlier during the 1993 Mumbai bombings. It was not there during the 2001 Indian Parliament attack. It was not there during the 2008 26/11 Mumbai attacks. And now Khwaja Asif, the defense minister of Pakistan, himself goes on national television and says, we do dirty work for the Americans and we are happy to do dirty work for anyone else. And we are saying to them tonight, we catch you do the dirty work. You are a country that admits doing dirty work. You do dirty work against us. We are going to bomb the living daylights out of you. And we did this morning. We should, on the contrary, be incredibly proud that we use the BrahMos. We have taken a political decision, ladies and gentlemen, to use the BrahMos. When I was told by government sources, and I asked these questions many times, but when I was told with great confidence that, Arnab, we've used the BrahMos A cruise missiles, then I said to myself that Shehbaz Sharif and Asif Munir knows we've only used 3 of our BrahMoses so far. Only 3. We have hundreds of BrahMos missiles, ladies and gentlemen, and this is a government that will not stop of using its arsenal. This arsenal is not meant to be put in a showpiece, and this government knows exactly what to do with it when they need to do something with it. Why the BrahMos? We will not stop at using the K4 SLBMs. We will not stop as using the Prithvi series short-range ballistic missiles. We will not stop at using the Nirbhay subsonic cruise missile with a distance of 1,000 kilometers. Very sneaky missile, very deadly missile, right? A silent hunter for India. And we use offensive defense. We use the S-400. We use the BMDs. But I want to tell the Pakistanis tonight, remember this, you're not that far off. We don't need to use the, you should hope in hell we don't have to use the Agni 5 on you. We should hope in hell because you're not 5,000 to 8,000 kilometers away. We don't need to use a MIRV against you, which is gold standard in deterrence. You can't even dream of achieving this reach, but do not do this anymore. If you want to think that you can send your Pakistan-trained, Pakistan-funded, Pakistan-failed terrorists to kill Shubham Dwivedi in front of his wife just 2 months after his wedding, then you got one thing coming, Shehbaz Sharif. You're a weak country, and what we are doing, what the Modi government is doing, is that it's reminding you again and again that you are a country of cowards. If you killed Lieutenant Vinay Narwal, when they killed Lieutenant Vinay Narwal while he was on his honeymoon with his wife in Pahalgam, and we never forget the pictures of Himakshi, then we know how to take revenge. Be very careful. The same Indian Navy that Lieutenant Vinay Narwal has been a part of, when it takes its revenge, if it has to take its revenge for this, then remember, when you see these pictures, also put on the other side, ladies and gentlemen, the pictures of the Navy formation that has surrounded the Pakistani coast tonight. And there is not an ounce of exaggeration in my mind this evening. Not an ounce of exaggeration in what I'm saying. But what we need to know is that the resolve of this government is a result of the resolve of its people. And the people of the country are completely resolved. We don't forgive the Pakistanis for what they did to Lieutenant Vinay Narwal, for what they did to Shubham Dwivedi, for what they did to Yatish Bhai Parmar, what they did to Shailesh Himmat Bhai, what they did to Prashant Kumar Satpathy. We will never forget all this. We will never forget that all these people were killed not because they were criminals, not because they were spying for India, not because they were a threat to anyone, but simply because they were Indians. And that hatred that the Pakistanis have for Indians is extremely obvious. This is a combat situation. It will, if required, and you may ask, how long will this remain a combat situation? This will remain a combat situation as long as it is necessary. For the government of the day is guided by the will of the people. Republic, the voice of the people. The voice of the people is important, ladies and gentlemen. And the government of the day reflects the will of the people. And the people are not in no mood to forgive or forget. We have supreme confidence in our armed forces and in our political leadership. Ladies and gentlemen, nation stands united. We are in an active combat situation. It is not over.